Pokemon nowadays has been getting very, very popular, and with that comes a big rise in people making Pokemon art as well. All of this started with this creator by the name of Colleen. By the way, please don't send hate to this creator. A lot of people were doing that, and I don't think this creator is at fault at all. But Colleen made this post writing, "Got my own trainer card today. It's pretty cute." And it is of Colleen and their partner celebrating their recent wedding, okay? And again, the concept of having a Pokemon card, right, to celebrate your wedding, so cute. Love that idea, right? I actually drew Pokemon cards for my boyfriend and I for a gift for him. It's been now getting really popular, but it's a really cute gift if you have somebody that loves Pokemon. And then we have this post by Twitter user Tired Bunny, but it's like spelled like BNNUY. They go by Ivy and they write, "Would be 2,000 times cuter if it wasn't shitty AI slop." Smiley face. And this went giga viral, like 3.6 million views, 96,000 likes. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Colleen, but yes, this is unfortunately AI art. This actually doesn't look like AI art when you first glance at it, so it can be easy just to like look at it and not realize that it's AI. I mean, I can just again point out a bunch of the inconsistencies as to why this is AI art. We have inconsistencies with the clothing. She's wearing a bridal dress, and then you see here how there's like a cut into the dress and it comes back out again. She's missing one eyebrow. I know you might be like, oh, the bangs might cover it, right? No, the eyebrow would actually show up. So she is also missing an eyebrow, and it is a little bit harder to see because the text is kind of blocking it, but the hands under the bouquet looks a bit jarring, a bit off. See, that's why it's like this is harder to tell because there's text over a lot of the artwork. So a lot of aspects may not make as much sense. And then we have the wonky looking flowers over here with this flower with this like extra petal. This flower with only 3 petals, but this one with 5, but they're like bleeding into each other. So those are kind of like telltale signs of AI. But I will say like this piece is harder to tell than the average piece. I would state because one, the art style is much more simplified. So a lot of times if the art style is more simplified, less room for AI errors. So it's easier to get away with it. And then again, secondly, like all these other things that I've pointed out prior. And then, you know, we kind of have like what looks like a headband going on with the hair, even though it's not a headband, but it kind of goes into the veil. So yeah, all those things, right? It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And this situation sparked a couple of debates. So the first one was a whole bunch of people in Colleen's comment section, right? People writing, "Could afford a whole custom card, but not a commission from an actual artist, huh? Come on, do better. This AI card doesn't have real emotional value. Maybe commission artists next time. Maybe support real artists, da 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 da." I don't want you to send hate to Colleen because I'm very certain she probably had no idea she was getting AI art. And she said it herself. In the comments, she added, "I'm muting this post, but to give some context, I got this as an anniversary gift from my husband who bought this card off Etsy. I wanted to show it off because it was a sweet gift. I don't know if it is, but I want to state that I do not support AI art in any way, shape, or form. I did not anticipate this tweet to blow up like it did, so I do apologize for the lack of response." Yes, this was Etsy. But that's the thing, right? Like, well, one, she didn't even buy it. It was her partner who bought it as a happy wedding celebration, right? And the thing is, look, I do not support AI art. Colleen stated she does not support AI art. A lot of people, I feel like, if you watch my content, you likely don't support AI art. But I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't expect the average person to be able to fully distinguish what is AI art and what is not. Unless you are an artist and you have a trained eye or you've just seen a lot of AI art, so therefore you, due to exposure therapy, are able to recognize what is AI and what isn't, the average person likely is not gonna know. And that's why I don't want you to fault Colleen for this because it really doesn't sound like it was a malicious thing where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy a bunch of AI art and scam artists, you know. It was like their husband bought it as a gift because their husband's probably like, oh, this is so cute, haha, right? And then oh shit, it was actually AI. Oops, you know. That's the thing. Like when we see that things are AI art, I would implore you to not immediately jump to conclusions and assume that the person who got it is malicious in their intent. Because a lot of times they aren't. This case again, Colleen didn't even get it herself. Her partner bought it. And I'm sure her partner probably had no idea that it was AI art. A lot of people fall victim to AI because it's a scam. The scammers purposely set it up, purposely try to make it look like it's legit to scam innocent victims who don't know it's AI. You know, a while back I talked about the AI crystal mugs. They look like this, and they had an associated video with it, and it was an AI video, and this is AI slop. This is AI. This is not a legit mug. It looked horrendous in person because this is fake as fuck. But a lot of innocent people fell victim to it and bought these mugs because they just simply don't know how to recognize AI art and AI slop. It's not their fault because it's such a new revelation. Unless you're an artist or unless you are extremely familiar with how AI looks like, you're not going to be able to recognize it. I would again state there is a whole other subset of people who know it's AI and still buy it anyways because they're being lazy, they want to cut corners, yada, 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 right? That is a whole different discourse that we can have, right? But I do not think that's what happened in this case. But I had seen so much hate sent towards Colleen about this, and I feel like it's so unfair because I truly do not think she or her partner knew they were buying AI. But for further confirmation that it is AI, and I'm gonna indicate with you how to point out and how to recognize AI, is we also look at the broad picture of things. You might be like, well, Kat, you're just being like weirdly picky about this one art piece. Like, I'm an artist and I draw flowers with 4 petals, blah, 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 blah. Right? Which is like, more power to you. You can draw flowers with however many petals you want to draw. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about AI. But this is the Etsy shop in question, Life in Ink shop. And a big way we can recognize whether something is AI or not is we look at all the other art they're selling. Fake art, because it's AI slop, right? Look at all of these other pieces. One, we can already recognize the art style does vary a lot. They have this like cartoon chibi style. They do a very Pokemon-esque drawing. But then they also render in a very 3D style, and they do pixel art, and they do Disney style art. You see, now we're getting very like, right? What are the odds that somebody does cartoon art and a very realistic 3D render and can render in a Disney style and does pixel art? These are all very, very different art styles. And of course, people can dabble in multiple art styles, but when it looks so different, it looks like it's made by a bunch of different people. It's either made by a bunch of different people or it's made by AI and they just went into a generator. Again, a couple of things we can tell. This is the listing that I'm assuming they bought from, right? Because it looks very similar to their card. We take a look at here at this card, right? It was simply like this, but different hair colors. And again, when we look at this piece even more, it's like even more of an indicator it's AI because a couple of things again, look, why is the back half of her hair white? You know, like split dye hair is a thing. You rarely see people split dye like the front chunk of their hair blonde and the complete black half of their hair white. It's a lot more likely that AI was used to make this and AI thought her hair was part of the veil and then colored the hair accordingly. And then here we have all the other different examples of the hair and the colors, you know. This was the listing. Oh, one other thing I do want to point out too, a lot of people in the comments were also like, you should have been suspicious because of how cheap it was, that it was AI. And while, yes, high quality artwork for a cheap price point is an indicator that AI could have been used in the process. There's a couple of other things too. There is something in the art community is called YCH, which stands for your character here. And the way that works is the artist will draw a base and then they will only change very minor elements to customize it to you. So in this case, the base would be the girl's body and the guy's body. And the only thing that changes is the hair color and like the styling of the girl's hair. Those are the only two things that changes. And when you work like that, when you do a your character here, it does make the artwork a lot cheaper. You're only changing like 2 aspects instead of redrawing an entire piece. I mean, I can use myself as an example, right? Like I've done your character here's before. Like this is the template, right? This is why it's so easy to make. I had 2 versions. It was the body and they're completely bald and I can change the skin tone according to you. But you either get a boba with balls or a boba without balls, or you get eyeliner or you do not get eyeliner. And then here are a set of examples that I've made. These are not all that I've made, but these are some, right? So as you can see, the only thing that changes the hair and then some other elements. The body, the pose, and the boba drink is already the same. So that's why it makes it cheaper. So it doesn't always mean that it's a scam. And yeah, the artist also may not be based in a Western country with like a very, very high cost of living. If the artist is maybe hypothetically based in the Philippines, right? The US dollar goes a lot further in the Philippines than it does in Los Angeles, California. So as a result, the pricing might reflect where the artist lives as well. So I just wanted to add those as well because I saw some people stating that, and that is not always the case. But we can look at their other artwork and see a lot of other indications of AI. So for example, we have this Mew piece, right? Which is, I guess, to indicate you're pregnant. I just want to point out a couple of things of this piece that would also indicate AI. 1, Mew has 3 fingers here, but 2 fingers here. You couldn't even get the fingers correct on the same Pokemon. But 2, it's supposed to indicate that you're pregnant, but 1 bar means you're not pregnant and 2 bars means you're pregnant. No, I've never been pregnant, but that's from my understanding of how pregnancy tests work. Would also assume the artist would get that correct. 3 is the difference in the eyes, right? We have an eye, and then look at the way the eye shine is in the left eye versus the right eye. It's not the same, right? There's one big circle, a medium-sized circle, one big circle, a really tiny circle in the bottom corner. And then look at the background. We have like a moon with its eyes closed, a bunny, and then we have a cloud with no eyes. And then the even bigger background is an even better indicator of AI. Just look what the hell is going on over here. Here we have a rocking chair, but like one bottom leg is missing. Like, do you see how it's a rocking chair, but the rocking part, it's attached to 3 legs for some reason. But the second one is not even attached to anything. And then we have all this other crap going on in the background. Here we have Snorlax. All right, so you're pregnant with Snorlax. The baby has no arms, 2 legs, and a floating circle, and Snorlax is not even holding the pregnancy test. It's just taped into the arm. Here we have the Eevee. I don't know what is going on with baby Eevee over here, but again, the amount of eyelashes don't match up left versus right. Also, again, we have the wonky clouds going on in the background. Poor baby Eevee over here. I don't even know what's going on in here. Squirtle, again, this doesn't even indicate you're pregnant, and this looks like a baby child. What am I to say? I've never been pregnant, but again, right? Like, Carly, this made me realize how unobservant I am. LOL, no wonder I never recognize AI art. So I'm pointing all of these out just to indicate to you a big sign that we can tell whether what you bought is AI or not is whether the artist sells other works that are AI. If you're unsure about your piece, but they sell a lot of other stuff that's AI, quite likely your piece is also AI. That's just one way to tell. But again, the final point that I really just want to bring this back to is, again, a lot of people were hating on Colleen for this, assuming she maliciously went out of her way to purchase an AI art on a Pokemon card, okay? One, again, she didn't buy it. It was her partner who bought it. But 2, like I've said before, unless you are an artist with a trained eye to recognize what AI art looks like, you will not know. My boyfriend is unobservant as hell. I gave him like a whole lesson on how to point out what AI art is. If I didn't give him that humongous rundown, he would have no idea how to distinguish what AI art is because he's not an artist. His artistic abilities are quite limited. It went all to his League of Legends skills and nothing else. JK, I love him. But you get my point, right? If you are an artist, it might look really obvious to you. But if you're not an artist, it really doesn't. That's the thing. I just want us to all be more empathetic out here. Oh yeah, wait, Carly, that's a very valid point as well. My brain just shut off. This is definitely not Squirtle's tail. It curls. There is not a hole in his tail. I don't think that's how his feet looks like, for that matter, too. I think the feet are also wrong, I'm pretty sure. I didn't even realize that. My eyes completely skipped over that. What the hell's going on here? He's got like a wind-up toy, a little like clock thing in the back. So anyways, I really just don't want this to be a situation where a poor creator who wanted just to celebrate her recent wedding was on the butt end of a whole bunch of hate because of a misunderstanding. I think we can all be more empathetic at the end of the day. I will also add, very final point as well, the fact that it is a customized piece, but they got a bunch of things wrong. Right? Like, her eyes are blue. Clearly, these are not blue eyes in this Pokemon card. She also has a sleeve, a tattoo sleeve, which is not present on this card. And I would state, typically, if you do buy your character here, commissions, those elements are simple and the artist would be able to add customization like that into the piece. So if the artist cannot do it, like if they cannot change your eye color to blue and they can't draw some tattoos on you, I may question whether they actually made the piece or not, because those are not too difficult of an ask. But in like wholesome news, we have this post by Jupy314, which is an art piece of her and her partner. And as you can see, her eye color is correct and her sleeve is present. And Colleen writes, OMG, the detail on this is amazing. Thank you, Jupy, for your kindness and creating this super sweet portrait for me and my husband. I'm obsessed with my tattoos. So just a little wholesome thing to wrap this all up. Again, there are way too many AI scammers on Etsy nowadays that are preying on people who go to Etsy thinking they're gonna get a customized piece and they just slap them with some AI slop instead. I think it's so unfair. I don't blame you at all again, Red, because like it happens, you know? Some people view me as like the guru of AI art, okay? And like I'm like decent at recognizing AI art because I would consider myself quite an observant person and I'm an artist. But there are pieces where sometimes I just miss stuff too, man. Sometimes I miss it too, especially in art that I'm not as familiar with. So one is anthropomorphic art. I'm not very good at anthropomorphic art just because I don't typically consume anthropomorphic artwork. So yeah, as a result, for furry art, sometimes I miss it because I'm just not good at recognizing it. I just don't consume a lot of furry art. The Pokemon current situation too sparked another debate in the comment section. I'm not gonna pull specific comments because I don't want to like send attack towards the commenter, but the sentiment is something that I do want to share, and I do want us to have like a debate about that. But there were a fair amount of commenters in the quote retweets that were stating, oh, but who cares if it's AI art? The art is cute and it's cheap. There were even people who stated that they themselves were artists, but that they use AI art, or that they're an artist and that they like AI art, or something, something, something. I'm just gonna make a few points. I mean, one, just because something is cheap doesn't mean it's good. Two, again, we do have to like look at it from multiple perspectives, right? I would state that the art industry as it is a very rough industry. It's historically been a very low paying industry as it is. And then now with the rise and prevalence of AI art, handmade art made from human beings is such a treasured piece to look at. It is beautiful, and we lose all of that beauty, that touch, etc. when we start using machines, AI, to go and try to reproduce artwork. It will never contain the same amount of like beauty and magic that a handmade piece made from a person would contain. So I'm just gonna state that. And then, I mean, if you do look at it too, you're getting scammed because it did not cost that person $25 to go into AI and type some text. Cost them $0, but they're gonna charge you $25 for it plus shipping. So you are getting scammed in the process. I guess if you like getting scammed, that's on you, bro. I can't control what you do. You can do whatever you want with your time, you know. But just note, AI does steal from artists. Does take from artists without their consent. Usage of AI is contributing to an industry where, do you want to see more AI? I don't know. I do not, but that's on you at the end of the day. You're your own person. You can make your own choices. I'm not going to tell you what you can or cannot do. But it is what it is, you know? Maybe this is not the best analogy, right? But if you want to see more AI art, then keep using AI art. Like, if you want to see more racism, then I guess keep being racist, right? But I don't want to, so I'm going to avoid both. But I'm not going to force you to do anything. Just try to be a good person.